what sparks the first video? Then we didn't really talk about that, right? Like, where do you like what makes you were already off-road recovering for years before you started filming, right?
Yeah, because I started doing it in 2009. That's when I got my first towing company. And then it was 2019 before I started filming. And it was just a long process. I didn't know it was so recent. Yeah.
I thought it was longer than that.
Yeah, it was
like right around COVID.
Yeah, March, the last week of March, 2019. Wow. So we, I didn't have, I don't have any schooling or formal education in anything that has anything to do with producing videos, content. So
that's the best way to do it.
It was really hard. Like, it was hard to just break through that first layer, which is, you just got to know things. You got to know how to edit, and it's one thing to be like, oh, I'm not very good at editing, and another one to go like, what do I Google first to start editing? Like, and
do you still edit everything?
No, I edited for about a year and a half.
Okay.
So I actually had a friend edit the first 14 videos, and that's when I knew, I'm like, oh, I've got to get control of the editing too. And so I spent that time to teach myself how to edit. I got LumaFusion on my iPhone because I was running the whole thing with my iPhone. So I was filming with my iPhone, editing with the iPhone, uploading with the iPhone, answering comments on the iPhone.
So you had hundreds of thousands of views just from your iPhone.
Yeah.
And hundreds of thousands of subs and everything.
Yeah, and that's
before you even switched to like.
I have first-hand experience. You do not need expensive cameras or equipment. You can start YouTubing at the bottom. You can get the nicer stuff later if you want it, but you don't need it to start with. And so, yeah, that was it. And it was just, so when my eyes were opened, I did a couple things that I got some data back from that was like, oh, okay, we should do this thing that people are telling me to do. And one of them was, I was trying to promote, and a lot of people do this with their YouTube even and their Facebook, is I was promoting my towing company, Winder Towing. Yeah. And so I would take pictures of jobs that we were doing, and a rollback with a bad alternator in the Lynn's parking lot got 7 likes and no comments, and I'm like, okay. And then I would show my little Jeep hooked up to a Dodge diesel truck with a toy hauler in the sand buried up to the axles, and it would get all these likes and shares and just all these comments. And I grew this big audience on Facebook, and a lot of the comments were some version of, I would like to see that Jeep pull it out, or there's no way that Jeep pulled that out, like those kind of comments. And so, but my friends were always like, you should put this on YouTube. You not only would it be cool because we could see it happening, but you could make a business out of this. But that wasn't real to me. That last part of it wasn't real. And it took a long time for me to
make money on YouTube.
Realize, because I'm like, you got to just keep doing it. You got to keep doing it. And when I started getting serious about, hey, I should do this, I just started researching YouTube on YouTube. And
Were you even watching anybody at that time? Were you even like paying attention to YouTube at all?
Well, YouTube to me was mostly how-tos. Yeah. And I didn't really seriously get into really watching YouTube regularly.
Like personalities, I would say.
Yeah. Well, when I started, it was, I got my Jeep and I'm starting my off-road recovery. I'm not even close to filming yet, and I'm watching Bleep and Jeep because I'm like, what causes death wobble? And Bleep and Jeep pops up. Yeah. So that's how I got started. It was a slow, long process. And then when I did decide I'm going to do this, I did that thing, we kind of already touched on it. I'm like, okay, channel on birdhouses. This guy makes birdhouses. They're not even that good, but he's getting a lot of views. This guy makes really nice birdhouses, and he's not getting any views. What's the difference here? Oh, this guy's engaging and communicating with his audience, and he's interesting, and this guy is just really technical and by the book. So I'm like, okay, I've got to somehow copy what this guy's doing, in my own space. So I worked on it. I spent, this is about, when I think about this, I get embarrassed because it was an embarrassing part of my life. I would go into my office, this office almost this big. And I'd sit in here and I'd prop my phone up and I would just talk to it. And I'd just be like, okay, what did I do today? And then I'd just tell the story of what happened that day. And then I'd go back and watch it and I'd see that I was like real super nervous. You probably saw me nervous when I got in here. I was like rocking this chair back and forth. Because I get nervous.
Still?
No, oh yeah, still. But
hundreds of videos still?
Yeah. So I would do that and watch for my nervous tics. Am I touching my face? What am I doing? What am I doing that's off-putting?
Yeah.
And then I just worked on that. I got 100 hours of that footage that no one will ever see me just practicing.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be out there at 7 o'clock at night. My wife pops in the door and just starts laughing at me. She's like, I don't know what you're doing. And she didn't. She had no idea what I was doing.
So you did hundreds of hours of basically acting coaching of yourself.
Of myself.
And watching for everything to try to make yourself palatable for entertainment.
For how I practice.
So then I just started filming these videos, and that changed everything. That changed the whole job. It was so just, is there a word for how I felt pulling a camera out on the jobs? It just seemed very awkward and weird and unnecessary, and like somebody's going to call me out, like my dad's going to come and tell me to stop that right now kind of thing, I don't know. And
it is unsettling.
Like, is this allowed?
Yeah.
Mike, can I do this?
And I filmed a couple of them. We got them edited up. I think we edited 5 videos and then dropped all 5 of them at once. And then I did a thing you never do. I told my Facebook group that I started a YouTube channel. And then I just completely abandoned my Facebook and just focused only on YouTube, and it grew really fast.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into it.
Yeah, I mean, you have almost 1.7 million subscribers since 2019. That's a pretty significant boom. I'd imagine it must have caught on pretty quickly.
Yeah, it really.
We already had an audience, so it's
I'd grown an audience, and Facebook probably hates me for pulling everybody off of there and sending them to a competing platform, but that's what happened. And then, it's been tricky just keeping up with it because I'm finding myself in a place that's bigger than I can manage, and I'm hiring people that aren't experts in this field, and so it's.
How are you split right now? How much of it is YouTube and how much of it is recovery, like your time?
So I closed down my towing company. We don't do any for hire towing at all. It's all off-road recovery. So I'm pretty much working every day on some aspect of it because we're a fabrication company. We're an off-road recovery company, 24-hour recovery company. And then we're this entertainment company where we film this stuff and put it out.
Yeah.
And so we've got these 3 things that we're doing all the time and weaving them in and out. And all of them are just as important as the other one, but I still have to prioritize them and get the filming schedule out. So there's things that are really hard about it, but it would be ridiculous for me to complain about what's going on. But it is a lot of work. And so if anybody ever says, well, I'm thinking about starting a YouTube channel, man, they better mean it. They better mean it because it is not, you do not casually start a successful YouTube channel. I say this, if you took YouTube, if somebody just handed you YouTube unorganized and told you to give a report on what I've given you, you'd come back and say, oh, this is a place where people upload videos that nobody watches. Because that's what's mostly on the platform. It's the algorithm that sends the good ones out. But there's this huge chasm that's just full of videos nobody watches.
Yeah, you're just kind of throwing things into the wind.
Yeah.
And hoping that they kind of stick.
Right. They need to resonate with somebody. And if they don't resonate with anybody, they will never be viewed. They'll have 7
I used to
views.
live in the chasm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a lot of videos that were just kind of...
Well, no, I filmed a couple. And it was super funny because me and my mechanic, Sean, we watched his channel blow up. Mm-hmm. Like, we're sitting here and we're like, dude, we were watching this guy last week and he had 12,000 subscribers and now he's got 70,000. And it was super funny because I was talking with Sean's brother And he goes, well, how many do you have? And I go, 35. And he goes, man, that's not bad. That's half of him. And I go, no, 35. There's no zeros. There's no nothing. I have 35 subscribers.
I can
And
know
he's
them all by name.
Yeah, and he's like, oh. I was like, yeah.
So when I first met him, after I met Rory, I was like, well, I told you. I met him and hung out with him for a couple hours. I'm like, okay, you have got YouTube potential here. You're a character. Your truck has character. You have a very interesting subject matter. You need to just start talking to that camera instead of showing that left front tire for 40 minutes.
Because that's all I would do, was because I didn't. So the biggest thing about my channel and everything that I have got here and accomplished is from my two mechanics. Because if they hadn't ran the shop, like I overseen the shop,
Yeah.
I had to make sure everything was going, but then I was running the truck and I was maintaining the truck and I was doing recoveries by myself. So it's really hard to film a recovery by yourself.
Yeah. So you watched his successful videos.
Yeah,
that
I was
good,
watching that, and I
and
was
then
like,
you didn't do similar videos.
well, but the thing was,
yet,
is it's
not at
like,
first.
Okay.
it was like watching him. It's like, dude, this dude's pulling cars out of the sand, and he's crushing it, and we're going out on trails in the middle of nowhere and pulling completely disabled rigs out that are missing a wheel and stuff. Like, why can't we do that? And like everybody that watches YouTube asks that question, why can't I do that? And there's no
like
reason
watching
you can't.
Olympians.
Yeah, there's no reason you can't. But you have to want to do that.
There's no free ride.
Yeah, and it's the work that comes in with it. And that's what nobody wants to do is I would run the shop, I'd oversee the shop, then I would hold the recoveries till after work. So then I would go out in the middle of the night, and then you can't film, but I'm doing all the recoveries and getting them done. And then I'd film some recoveries, so then I would sit in my office until 2 or 3 in the morning editing a video. And then, well, the shop opens in a couple hours, I'll just sleep here. So I sleep there. Basically, I just told my girlfriend,
Yeah.
bye, nice to know you. I'll
be doing this.
See you in a while. Yeah, and so I would do that. I had nobody else to do anything, and so then I would drop a video here and there, and they were always sporadic. But like I said, without the two guys that I had running the shop so that I could do that and chase Matt around when he finally let me chase him around,
And earn your keep a little bit.
yeah, but I mean, like, that was the thing is Matt told me, he's like, you got to talk to your audience more, and you got to do this and you got to do that.
I know sometime early on, we went and helped you with a job. I don't know if it was at the sand dunes, and Jamie filmed you, and she forced you to talk to the camera.
I was helping you because that guy had broke out in your sand dunes. And you're
Yeah.
like, do you want to do this? And I said, well, I have a welder on my truck. And you said, let's go
Yeah,
out
so
there.
we were coming back from Johnson
Hammers,
Valley,
yeah.
and that job comes up. I'm like, do you want this job? And you're like, yeah, let's go do it.
Yeah.
And so then I just gave the job to Rory, and then my wife filmed him and
She
forced
kept
him.
grabbing my
Yeah.
phone or my camera and whatever. And she's like, talk. Rory, what are you doing? Why are you doing
And
that?
see, if I did that,
That helps a
Rory would
lot.
be like, get the heck out of my face. But Jamie's like, Rory, and he's like,
yeah.
well, I'm doing this thing. He's like,
Yeah, I'm doing
That
it.
actually
Howdy,
helps
ma'am.
a lot to like have somebody kind of prod you to start talking a little
and then
bit.
that video did really well. And I wasn't on the thumbnail, and I don't know if
But
I
I
was in the
tagged
title.
him.
You might have tagged me, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The biggest YouTube shout out in the world is worth nothing if
Yep.
the video you're driving traffic to won't keep people there. And that was a good video. And it was all Rory. Rory was talking to the camera. So
I think there's just something so satisfying after your guys' videos of like the success of something working, and every
resolved,
single
yeah.
video kind of stands alone, which
Yeah.
is nice too. You don't have to, you could just watch any video and you're like watching a whole storyline start to finish, something stuck and getting out.
Yeah.
Not like a car build series where if you missed the first 15 videos, you're kind of lost.
Right.
yeah,
It's cool to have like a story arc per video.
Yeah.
So that kind of gives it a nice like
that definitely helps. And in
they
our
all end like
in
that.
our shop videos, we try to do the same thing. We, even though that it is a build series, we don't do them like a build series. So we try to pick up at the beginning of the video and then end with something done that we can show, something visual, so it can
have
stand
one
alone.
problem that we solved at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a different world,
Yeah.
YouTube, than like TV, and
And
that's what I love to hear, that you turned down streaming, because a lot of people in your position would have been like, oh, shiny thing, like,
Right.
you know, they want me to do this.
The weird
like, I'm
thing
in.
is a couple years off, I would have jumped on that.
Yeah.
But now it was like, no, it's like I have control of this situation, and I'm making money for me, because that's what the one producer said. He's like, I'm going to write you a huge check, and I said, you're going to write me a huge check once. I said, YouTube's writing me a check every month.
Yeah. Well,
You
then you
know.
look at all the people that did have deals, and what are they all doing now?
They're all on YouTube.
Yeah, like,
Oh.
I mean, Diesel Brothers they're big in the recovery stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got quite a few different interesting rigs that
Yeah.
he uses to recover. They're all kind of
YouTube is super good.
unique.
I watched the interview that he did, and he talked about how much better YouTube has been for them than when they were.
That's
working
crazy.
on the network.
Like, it's crazy to hear from someone like that who had probably the biggest discovery deal
Right.
you could have, to now be on YouTube. Even like you look at like Gas Monkey in there, he's mostly on YouTube now too. I don't think he's got a discovery deal anymore.
Yeah.
It's just such a better outlet for the kind of stuff you guys do. Which
I
makes it
agree.
cool. Is it weird, like, having random people on? You ever worry about that? Like, the person that's stuck, having them on at all? Or, like...
They help my videos in general, even if we just get a couple of glimpses of them, because it puts kind of a human element into what we're doing. Like, we're not just rescuing a vehicle, we're rescuing humanity.
Yeah.
I'm a hero. No. So, but it really does. People like that. And every once in a while you just get this golden person to rescue, and they just make the video better.
Just kind of, what's like the golden person? Like,
Just
what?
somebody who's animated and
Yeah.
willing to talk to the camera and not camera shy. And that's pretty much it. They don't need to have any special skills or anything. They just need to be happy and energetic, and that's a
I feel like it's usually people that aren't on social media at all, like an older person, that's the most, like, not camera shy at all.
Yeah.
Because they have no concept of, like, where it's going, what's going on.
Right.
And they just say whatever, kind of just,
yeah.
you know, they're like, Andrew, now, I don't know, like, just kind of,
Yeah, and it's funny because we ask at the beginning, like, are you okay with being on YouTube? And if they say no, then we're like, well, we're filming this, so try to stay out of the shot. Almost 100% of them, by the time we've been filming for a minute, they're like, I've changed my mind.
yeah.
So
Yeah, do you ever worry about them signing anything, like a release?
we just get a
or-
verbal
Yeah.
Just
verbal
put it
on camera.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good way to do it.
Do you want to be on, we're going to film, or we film it for our editor. We'll be like, we'll just say, block out license plate, block out me, don't show this,
Yeah.
But
Guys, thank you for tuning in to the Bogetti Clips YouTube channel. For the full podcast, check us out on Bogetti Studios YouTube and all your audio platforms. Also, hit that subscribe button to not miss out on any of the new Bogetti Clips coming up.